All right, shalom, shalom. Call Yahweh Shemi Shai Bashim Kakodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles, great millstone, which are the men that rule well and who taught us this truth. All right, peace, blessings, and citations to the elect. Lord willing, the title of this lesson will be "All Questions Will Be Answered in Due Time," brother. And the inspiration from this lesson, man, it comes from, well, I wouldn't say the inspiration in a way, yeah, but more so, I'm making this lesson for brothers that's just coming out to the camps, brothers that's just coming up in the spirit, brothers that's starting to come out to the camps, wherever your camp is. Keep in mind, because, I remember when I was first coming out, I had 100,000 questions to ask, and I wanted to join in on conversation and chime in with my little precepts, trying to, you know what I mean? Being zealous, and ain't nothing wrong with it, but just remember that it ain't about, well, for one, you shouldn't come out with the mindset of trying to show how much you know or nothing like that. You need to come out with the mindset of, not really saying much. The mindset of listening more than anything. That's why I titled it, "All Questions Will Be Answered in Due Time," because when you first come out, you have 100 questions to ask the brothers, and then nothing wrong with asking questions. Ask your questions, in measure. You don't want to ask 150 questions and then, you know what I mean? Go into 50 different topics, you got to remember that one thing I learned from the elder Kasat Magan here in the DC church is, because I had asked him 100 questions in like one sitting. I was like, well, what about this? What if this happens? What if Jacob's trouble happens? And when y'all brothers, what if y'all not out here no more? And I had 100 questions. This was years ago, right? And he said, yo, calm down. All questions will be answered. And, all your questions will be answered in due time. Just be patient. And I was like, all right, cool. And what I did after that was basically, and I'll get to the scriptures in a second, Salakia, I just, something I wanted to share. After I decided to chill out and stop asking questions, every single one of my questions that summer, not even summer, it was springtime when I first started coming out to the camp. Every single question I had got answered through the Spirit. Every week or through a video, through a lesson that the elders did or a brother did, everything alive, everything got answered in due time. So I'm telling you from experience, man, no matter what you're going through, there's an answer for it and it's coming in due time. All right? But the mindset you should have is that James 1:19 mindset. And this lesson going to be super short. All right, I only got 2 precepts, but I'll start off with James 1 because it's very important. This is the most important thing to apply for the younger brothers, man. And even if you just joined the camp, it's good to apply this. And even when you're older, man. But nonetheless, for the younger brothers, man, you got to learn how to apply that James 1:19, man, for real. James 1:19, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, so be quick to hear, to listen, slow to speak, slow to wrath. You need to take your time to speak. Because when you're first coming up is when you're going to make the most mistakes, right? And one thing I learned real quickly in this truth is you need to listen more than you speak. You should barely be talking. Sometimes you feel like just saying shalom to one of the elders is too much, because when you're first coming up, man, you might think but you don't know as much as you think you know. You think that what you know is vast. Well, the truth is more vast than what you think, and there's not a precept that you could bring out that an elder hasn't read before. You're not going to bring out a precept that the apostles, you're not going to surprise the apostles with a precept. You know what I mean? Like, they've been in this for so long, So just remember that your job as, your position is to be humble, man, and to listen to what the brothers are saying. It ain't about Zalaki. It ain't about showing off what you know. All right. And if you got questions, ask your questions in measure. You don't want to do too much at once, man. Salaki got the end over here yelling and shit. I don't know if you can hear it. Salaki if you can. But nonetheless, man, be swift to hear, so to speak, man. You don't want to say too much. You don't need to. All your questions will be answered in due time. That's why you don't need to speak much. The scriptures talk about answer, young man, if it be need thee, right? Roughly paraphrasing. Let me try to grab that, actually. Sirach 32:7. Speak, young man, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, and yet holdeth his tongue. Right? That's very important to apply, because I know when you first come up and you learn, a bunch of breakdowns all in one night. That's what happens when you first come up. You want to show how much you know, not in a wicked way or nothing like that, but you try to do that in a way. And you come to realize that it don't matter, man. Be as one that knoweth, yet holdeth his tongue. So even if you do know it, you don't need to say it. It says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words. Yeah, be quiet. Don't say too much. You're going to make a fool out of yourself. I know I've done it like 2 or 3 times. And I learned my lesson in certain situations. And sometimes I still slip up, But nonetheless, man, for the most part, I learned my lesson, man, when I was first coming up, right? Let me see if there's something else I want to get out of this. Let me see. No, that's all I'm going to bring out for right now. But yeah, it says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them, right? You're not going to bring out a precept that the elders haven't read before, Don't think you got the golden ticket, You don't want to have that mindset, So nonetheless, it says, and when ancient men are in place, use not many words. You don't need to say too much. Like I said up above, man, let thy speech be short. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to touch that topic as well, because I did title it, all questions will be answered in due time. But also, as an exhortation and encouragement to say, you don't need to say a lot, Ecclesiastes 3:1, I'll end it here. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Right? There's a time and purpose for everything. Even the things that you might have questions on, that topic will come up. All your questions will be answered. I could promise you that. Because Yahweh Shem Yahushai is the one that heard you first. Never forget that. All right? Before you even asked it, he lined up the answer for you. It'll just come in his time. And also, keep in mind, man, be swift to hear and slow to speak, man. You don't need to say too much, You don't want to say too much, when you're out at camp, And everything is a process, and your answers will always come in due time. All right? So, Lord willing, this was edifying and exhorting. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushua, B'Hashem, Kakwadash, double honors to my elders and apostles of great millstone, which are the men that rule well and taught us his truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations always be to the elect. Shalom.